Slow-moving vehicles. Some vehicles have trouble keeping up with the speed of traffic. Look for these vehicles and adjust your speed before you reach them. Farm tractors, animal-drawn carts, and road maintenance vehicles usually travel 25 miles per hour or less. Slow-moving vehicles may have an orange triangle on the back. It looks like this sign. Watch for large trucks and small underpowered cars because on long, steep hills they lose speed. When entering traffic, they take longer to get up to speed. Following distance. When another driver makes a mistake, you need time to react. You can give yourself this time by keeping enough space between your car and the vehicles around you. Keep a space cushion on all sides of your car. It will give you space to brake or maneuver if you need it. The shaded area in the picture illustrates the areas around the car that should be empty whenever possible. Keep a cushion ahead. Many drivers don't see as well as they should because they follow too closely, and the vehicles ahead block their view of the road. Good drivers keep a safe following distance so they can see better. The more space they allow between their car and the cars ahead, the more time they will have to see a hazard or accident down the road. They will have more time to stop or to avoid the hazard. Keep enough space between your car and the car ahead so that you will have a big picture of what lies down the road, and steering to avoid trouble will be easier. You can travel in the center of the lane instead of hugging one side or the other to let you see ahead. Most rear-end collisions are caused by following too closely. To avoid this, use the 3-second rule. When the vehicle ahead of you passes a certain point, such as a sign, count 1, 1,000, 1, 2,000, 1, 3,000. This takes 3 seconds. If you pass the same point before you finish counting, you are following too closely. At faster speeds, the distance should be greater. Sometimes you will need more than a 3-second cushion. Give yourself a 4-second or more cushion. When you are crowded by a tailgater, you should allow extra room between your car and the car ahead. Then, if you need to slow down, you can do so gradually. You will be able to avoid braking suddenly and being hit from behind by a tailgater. On slippery roads, if the car ahead should slow or stop, you will need more distance to stop your car. When following motorcycles, if the motorcycle falls, you will have to avoid hitting the rider. Motorcycles fall more often on wet and icy roads, on metal surfaces such as bridge gratings or railroad tracks, and on gravel. When the driver behind you wants to pass, slow down to allow room in front of your car so the driver will have space to move into. When you are pulling a trailer or carrying a heavy load, the extra weight makes it harder to stop. When following large vehicles that block your view ahead, you need the extra room to see around the vehicle and to the sides. When you see a bus, school bus, or vehicle carrying hazardous materials, these vehicles must stop at railroad crossings. Expect the stops. Slow down early to allow plenty of room. When you follow too closely and another driver cuts in front of you, the normal reaction is to slam on your brakes and swerve out of the way. Swerving out of the way most often results in cutting someone else off or possibly driving off the roadway. It might also result in the car behind you crashing into you or other cars around you. If another car cuts in front of you, it would be better if you just take your foot off the gas. This will give you space between your car and the other drivers without swerving into another lane. Don't overreact if you are cut off. Plan your emergency escape route before an emergency happens. Braking distance. You must be able to stop your car within the distance shown by the yellow car when you use your foot brake. For safest driving, keep your tires and brakes in such good condition that you can stop within the distance shown by the blue car. It is important to note that the graph illustrates the braking distance after you have applied the brakes. To this, you must add a reaction distance, which is the distance you travel from seeing the danger to putting your foot on the brake pedal. Since 3/4 of a second is the average reaction time, A motorist will travel 11 feet for each 10 miles per hour of speed before hitting the brake. At 50 miles per hour, this distance would be 55 feet. Signaling. The most common faults when making turns are failing to signal, not signaling long enough, failing to search for hazards, turning from the wrong lane, and failing to turn properly. Before making any turn, whether the turn is into another roadway, a parking lot, another traffic lane, or leaving a parking position, it is extremely important that you signal. Your signal lets other drivers, cyclists, and pedestrians know your intention. In urban or metropolitan areas, you must signal continuously for 100 feet before making a turn or lane change. On 4-lane highways where the posted speed limit is more than 40 miles per hour, you must signal for 200 feet. Failing to signal is a traffic violation. If your vehicle's turn signals do not work, you must use hand signals. If using hand signals, end your signal before starting to make your turn and place both hands on the wheel while making the turn.